The Dollar Tree is imploding. It's becoming, in some places, the $7 tree, which is a completely different thing, but that's what it is. A major drug lord found, and where? Well, let's just say that doesn't fit the media narrative. And fine, we are going to talk about the eclipse. We're going to talk about potential impacts from it being a sign from God to power grid impacts, etc. We'll cover all those things briefly and give you my thoughts on that. That, and we got a whole bunch more reports coming from you guys from all over. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates coming in from all over the world and all over the United States with what you guys are seeing, information that you want to share with other people. We thank you so much for that. Please do keep those reports coming in. Before we dive in, we do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. If you have a retirement account, 401k or IRA, and you want to know what you can do with it, whether moving some of it over to gold, silver, or other metals, or whether you want to move it all over, Jonathan and his team can answer your questions, talk to you about what it would look like, answer everything you have, and then you can make a decision for yourself. If you want to get some more information, there'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, so the Supreme Court has backed off from blocking the implementation of Texas's arrest and deport people for crossing over without a visa. Yeah, that's big news out there. They were kind of partially blocking it with the potential for the Supreme Court hearing a case. They've decided not to hear the case and to basically affirm that the Texas law should be implemented. And with the fact that they did not do anything, there is nothing any other courts can do about it unless a new bill or new lawsuit is brought up. But the fact that they declined to pick it up will make that very hard for any courts to do. So Texas is going to basically arrest people at the border that have not gotten picked up and gotten amnesty or whatever from the federal government. If the Texas folks can get to them first, arrest them, they can deport them. Now, Mexico's already come out and said that they will not receive back any of the people that we're trying to deport, which is just really ridiculous. They won't block them from crossing the border into the U.S., but they will block them from crossing the border back into Mexico. So that just tells you how insane, upside-down world we are. Venezuela has emptied out their prisons and sent them up our way, and we're dealing with the aftermath of that. Speaking of which, a Colombian drug lord was arrested this week in Texas. Now, he was operating apparently in a migrant center for the past 2 months. So he's been inside the United States dealing drugs and doing all sorts of stuff. He's wanted for multiple murders, all sorts of crazy stuff. He was on Interpol's top 10 list. Okay, so for wanted people in the world, he was in the top 10. He was on the posters and everything, right? Which is really surprising since, let me get this quote from the White House spokesman right, since all migrants pass through a rigorous vetting process. A rigorous vetting process that apparently doesn't include fingerprinting or, you know, looking at the world's top 10 most wanted posters. Doesn't include that. So apparently the people processing these people don't even check the FBI most wanted list, don't keep up with the Interpol's most wanted list. They just kind of don't do that. It's rigorous. I swear, if bin Laden was still alive today, he would probably be safest by hiding inside the United States. That's basically where we are today. We have been, just last month, I think it was, we actually arrested a Hezbollah member, an active military member of Hezbollah, who confessed that he had crossed into the United States, and he confessed the reason why he was there is to go to New York and to build a bomb. An active member of Hezbollah. You do with that as you will. All right. Leela says, Southern New England. I went out looking for corned beef yesterday. Shop and Save was supposed to have a sale. They had nothing. No beef. Long story short, I ended up at Wally World and paid $30 for a 5-pound package of corned beef. This is the last time I spend that much for corned beef. I only did it because the plans we had already made. Canel says, I've been having a lot of trouble finding diabetic test strips for a few months now. And for whatever reason, I've had to wait a couple of days to get my insulin as well. We've been saying that. They keep saying that there's no problem with insulin, but I keep hearing from you guys that you're starting to see issues with insulin. Canel lives in Oklahoma. If you guys have an update that you'd like to send in, just reply back to any one of these videos, type up a comment. Make sure you use in that comment the word update somewhere, and that will get it to the right place. Let us know what you're seeing where you are. If you need to email me directly, because you need to keep your name off things, I already take off parts of your name so that we're only using like first names and stuff like that. But if you need to email me directly, go to poplarpreparedness@gmail.com. That's my email address. William says, Dollar Tree is raising their $5 items to $7. We mentioned that. So their new prices will be between $1.50 and $7. So it's like they should rename themselves the Dollars Tree, maybe. I don't know. These prices will all take effect this year. Also visited our local Dollar Tree this past weekend, and we noticed how empty and clean they were. Well, when you don't have any stuff, of course it's clean. We just casually commented how empty it was. We were told by the employees that they're just not getting their shipments in. This is out west in New Mexico. And it sounds like the government, this is a separate note that they put on there. Also, it sounds like the government is preparing for an attack on the U.S. Probably a big one. They're quietly preparing doctors and local state government employees. We've been kind of hearing the same kind of thing from you guys. Different places, lots of different bits of information here and there. But it's starting to look like Dollar Tree may be imploding completely, friends, because they just aren't getting the stock in. And the fact that they're closing down 600 Dollar Trees across the U.S. this year tells you they're going the wrong direction. And the fact that they're starting to close stores, we've always seen this before. When these companies start closing stores, they usually don't stop. Usually the same momentum that keeps having them launching new stores works in opposite when they start closing them down. You start seeing a lot of the situation just starts going downhill pretty fast. They start losing their competitive advantage. Prices start going up, which means less things are bought, which means less profits, which means more stores get closed, which means they have less purchasing power, which means prices go up, and just kind of cycles like that. We saw that with Kmart and everything like that too, right? Happy Camper says, a pharmacy charged my mom's insurance for a full prescription, but only gave her 7 days worth of medicine. She called her insurance and they said the pharmacy owed her money. A week later, still don't have that money back. Watch out for smaller pharmacies committing fraud. Fraud, yeah. Apparently that's happening, friends. So please do be checking your prescriptions to make sure you're getting what it says on the bottle. I know, you have to go out and count those pills. Make sure that you're getting what they say that you're getting, because that's really big. Because you may not be able to get the rest of your prescription, right? If you don't catch them on it, they may not give you more prescription. They're like, well, what'd you do with it all? They're going to blame you. Catherine says, electric vehicle. Electric vehicles for flatbed trucks are now required for California businesses with 5 company vehicles or more. So if you have 5 company vehicles or more, apparently you need to have at least 1 electric vehicle or multiple electric vehicles. I don't know. We are a construction company and will lose contracts due to this green agenda. However, no other company has electric flatbeds or construction vehicles either. Seemingly no public work will be done. So these are apparently government contracts, I guess. Interesting that the city and state governments are exempt from the ACF rule. Glad 90% of our work is private. Just more government meddling. I mean, we've seen, I think by now, you've seen an electric car go up in flames on YouTube or watch a video of one of those things. It is like, even the fire department's like, we can't put that out. We just have to let it burn out. Imagine now a truck Not an electric car, an electric truck. That, I don't even want to know how long those things will burn. Tracel says, I work with the elderly. I'm a nurse and I see a little bit of everything. I have a clear-minded 96-year-old in my care. She can't afford the dosage of monthly meds prescribed for $240, so she only takes half of her heart meds. She looked at me and said, but if I was an illegal, I would have all this for free. I can't believe I've lived this long to be treated so poorly by my government. Sobering words. Maybe like to hear some politicians kind of respond to that. It'd be interesting. But of course they won't. What a Blissful Life says, same story here with the total car. Mine was stolen from me in San Francisco. Well, that's your first mistake, going to San Francisco, I guess. But it took 3 months for AAA to pay most of the loan and 2 months to get the gap pay, but the gap pay didn't pay at all because there was a service warranty that the dealer took another month to send to the bank. So you have insurance, then the gap pay, and then you have this service warranty. My question was, how can I charge them 10% late fees? Well, you get charged 10% late fees when you're late, right? And I get charged a whole bunch of fees when I'm late. But these insurance companies never seem to be getting charged anything, do they? Office Gladiator says, I'm in Billings, Montana, and in my low-income neighborhood, our power has gone out 3 times in the last 30 days. Also, our Albertsons pharmacy was hacked, and we had to bring our prescription to them in writing. It was a pain to go to the doctor and get prescription, then take it to the pharmacy. Welcome to the 1980s again, friends. We're moving backwards in time. It seems like just all of this woke agenda is determined to take us backwards in time. That's what I keep saying. All right, now, I mean, we had computer systems, and now we don't have computer systems anymore. We're going back to carrying around paper prescriptions. And it's not going to stop there, friends. It's just going to, our backwards travel through time is going to accelerate until we're all living in caves and hiding from the sun. Figgy Pie says, Northeast Oklahoma, Tulsa area. I have car body damage to my 2023 Hyundai Tucson. Stopped in Gerber Collision Repair, which is a nationwide company, to ask if they had problems getting parts for Hyundais. The manager just shook his head and said, getting parts is hit or miss. I told him I'm moving out of state at the end of April. He suggested waiting till I moved to get my car repaired. He went to the nationwide company, right? There is no guarantee the parts will be available and repairs done in time for my departure. Fortunately, the damage is not mechanical and my car is fine to drive. That's what we're seeing out there, friends. Crystal Shell says, this week an article ran in an Oklahoma newspaper asking all residents to stock 2 weeks worth of food before the April 8th eclipse event. Why would you need 2 weeks of food for a 5-minute eclipse event? Or is the government planning something else? Please let me know if you have any information on this. The answer is I don't have any information on this. I know some people out there are saying that they do have information. I've looked into some of those. I don't get any of the specific stuff. So I'm going to give you my top 5 things that might happen from this. And yeah, let's go through them. It's kind of in a descending order. So the most likely. So first off, you're going to have lots of people traveling. They're saying this out there that lots of people are going to travel from out of state to go see the eclipse. So if you're in the belt of the eclipse for total eclipse, you may have people driving in from out of state. That could cause traffic jams or something like that. Is that really that big of a deal? I don't think so, but is that going to happen? Probably. We've seen other eclipses recently and people driving a fair distance to get there, and you know, there is that. 2. Potential power grid issues. As the sun gets blotted out in the middle of the day, might that cause problems with the power grids? Possibly, I guess, but you know, all the power companies know this is going to happen, so they're probably going to be prepared for it. So probably won't cause any problems like that. Number 3, is it a sign or a warning from God? Or if you're into astrology, that's just the universe kind of communicating or something. I don't know. Now, I don't want to rule that one completely out, that the eclipse is potentially going to be telling us that there's something going to happen, and this is kind of God's way of getting everybody's attention or something like that. But, I mean, it doesn't tell you anything. It's not like this is happening, so that's going to happen. You know, so be prepared for that because the sun's getting blotted out by the moon. I don't fully see that kind of stuff, but, you know, it's kind of one of the things where I just kind of, I go, interesting. Now, of course, you have to hear from me. I'm going to be in a completely different continent. So, you know, I guess the skeptical cynics out there might say, well, Steve, why are you fleeing our country during this? Maybe you do think it is a problem. I was actually kind of hoping to be here for it because I wanted to go see it. But, you know, these things happen. It's a natural phenomenon. All right, so number 4, magnetic field or gravity problems, or just that the eclipse is going to mess the magnetic field of the world up or something like that, or that's going to mess up geological activity. I don't really see any basis for that whatsoever, but there's going to be people out there who says absolutely there's stuff going on with that, but I don't think so. That's my take. Let me know down in the comments if you disagree with me on that. That's fine. And then there's this, it's going to be used as cover for either our government doing something to us or another country launching a nuclear strike or a major cyber attack, you know, to just kind of gin up more panic or something like that. So, I mean, that's legitimate. I mean, it could happen. Is it going to happen? I don't know that it will, but I don't have any evidence that it will, but yeah, I mean, it could happen. Things can happen, but probably, I don't know. So I'm a skeptic on the whole thing, but I know some of you guys you got all your T's crossed and I's dotted, and you think you know what all's going to go down, and let us know down in the comments. If you have information, please do share. But I haven't really heard anything substantive out there myself, other than things I've just listed. Ali Bali says, Sainsbury's and Tesco, the 2 biggest food stores in the UK, have had glitches with their software updates just a day after McDonald's did. They had to cancel home deliveries, and so the UK McDonald's system went down. They lost it for 12 hours, and now the 2 main grocery stores in the UK also had glitches. And we're seeing a lot more of these glitches happening with these updates. And some might think that due to recent hacking activities, maybe they've gotten into the source code of these updates and are actually trying to put viruses into these updates, and potentially the operating systems of computers are detecting those viruses and blocking them or something like that. I don't know. That's me completely spitballing that out. But we're having enough glitches that we have some big hacks that got into some pretty heavy stuff, like operating systems and such with Microsoft, as well as like the SolarWinds thing hack. They got into a whole bunch of company systems. Is this coming from their systems being compromised? Now the hackers are trying to get into additional systems and they're being blocked. And the question is, if these are the failed attempts, are there successful attempts happening out there? Now it seems like these glitches are being stopped and they're realizing that the software update is causing the problem. They're canceling the software update and they're putting a patch, basically taking it back to the previous, and then they're going back over the source code and trying to root out these issues. I don't have any insider information on that, but that's just me reading between the lines. All right, friends, if you guys have updates, please do send them in. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.